welcome to Outbreak Endless Nightmares. This is the newest installment in the Outbreak series, and it's a roguelike unlike the other ones. It still tries to keep some horror elements. I'll try to go over some of the differences real quick and try to show the first level, but let's just do that one. I don't know how you clear data so you can start from level 1, so we're going to have to just pick someone I haven't used before. If you want to know the story on how you got here, go ahead and click this, but this is the new Nightmare crew, so Lydia, Harry, Hank, and so on. And we're going to go over how they work, because they are different from New Nightmare. So, let's start with Lydia at the top. She still has her whole handgun thing going on. She starts with a handgun, but the characters all have unique perks now, so she generates more handgun or more ammo when you create it. We'll show that as we go. But then the perks themselves are different. The important thing, though, is if you are a ranged fighter, you need to make sure that you get the marksman buff. So this is a 25% damage boost. This is what makes her still the best handgun user in the game. But otherwise, the other characters do have different identities. Kane was the melee user in New Nightmare, but now he is your rifle specialist. He doesn't get as much firearm damage per level as Lydia and some of the others, but he still gets the rifle boost. The thing that doesn't make a lot of sense, though, is yes, he has the rifle boost, but he starts with a katana. The important thing, though, is you just need to make sure that they have marksman, because yes, then he can still use a gun, and yes, he'll still be using the rifle if you want to use him seriously. As for Ivy, well, one second. So Anomaly Stabilization Boost is his unique perk. So what this means is, in the various levels, since this is a roguelike, there is an invisible timer ticking to make you progress, otherwise things happen. Kane will stabilize it a little bit and allow you to stick around a little longer, but they're not very long to begin with, at least early on, so that kind of limits his usefulness. It's just, as long as he has marksman, he's solid. As for Ivy, she is still the tanky member of the group. She has the healing boost. The part that doesn't make a lot of sense, sadly, though, is she has the shotgun damage perk, but starts with the magnum. And the part that really cripples her viability is, if you look, there's no marksman. You get marine, but you're missing the best one, so as a result, you, well, she's not going to be as good with guns as some of the other ones. As for Harry, he is now your Magnum Specialist, so even though he has this, he starts with the Assault Rifle. Yeah, I know you're kind of being trolled that Shotgun Specialist starts with the Magnum, the Rifle Specialist starts with the Sword, and the Magnum Specialist starts with the Rifle. I don't know. Now, his unique perk is the Essence Boost, so he will generate more currency. There is a merchant in the game, since there is, well, it's a roguelike, you get to buy crap. So if you want to farm stuff, you can use him innately, and he'll do a decent job. He gets the 2.5% firearm damage, so he can do stuff, but you may just want to stick to Lydia. The important thing, though, is he does have marksman, so yes, later on he will be hands down the best Magnum user in the game. He will literally frag crap. As for Hank, he's the one who's the most hamstrung of the bunch. So he gets the shotgun perk. Ivy gets the 2.5% firearm per level, which stacks with it, making her a little bit better with shotguns than him. He gets the crit rate thing, but the part that I'm not a fan of is his unique perk is XP boost. So what that means is he is your speedrun character, because he's going to level up the fastest out of anyone. So you can get the best return on your time investment by using him. It's just, when you when you hit the level cap, you don't have the other things to fall back on like they do. And the other part is, he does not have marine, or he has marine, he doesn't have marksman, so that further cripples his usefulness. In my opinion, out of the characters in the game, Hank is probably the worst. And finally, Elena. This is the one that I wanted to use, but I don't know how to clear stuff, so she has her grenade perk here. She starts with the grenade launcher. She gets a damage boost when attacking downward, so she's good at picking off crawling types. And here is her marksman thing, so she is, in my opinion, probably the fourth best character in the game. As for who the best is, I'm just going to say it's going to be probably between Lydia and Kane. And the reason for that is, I don't know how common rifle ammo is in the later builds. Well, by builds I mean the later levels. If the rifle ammo is plentiful enough and you can take advantage of that, that's great, but handgun ammo is by far the easiest to come across, which further helps Lydia she's the protagonist, so she kind of has that going for her. Then Harry would by default be the third best, because he does have marksman. It's just, you're not going to be able to take advantage of that magnum thing until extremely late. And then they all have debuffs of sorts. It's either poison resistance, different levels of which, or just health penalties. So I think I'll just grab. Let's grab Harry, because we can try to use the essence boost. But otherwise, there is no online co-op anymore. It's now local. I have not tested this myself. You can choose how the split screen works. It's kind of up to you. You might be able to do like a online thing if you use remote play. We've talked about this, but none of us have actually gotten around to testing it. And yes, I will put out the disclaimer. I did not test this as much as I did Epidemic, the early Epidemic, or Lost Hope. So I did not do any number crunching or anything to help out with this. It was pretty much Yuri doing his thing. So for the character, I said we'd grab Harry, and let's just go in. So I'll hit New Game. Here are your different difficulties. Standard is the self-explanatory one. Iron Man is you lose your save on death. Randomizer is random crap happens. They mentioned that the Nexus shop is disabled, so I don't know how forgiving this is later. Lost Hope is Iron Man plus randomizer at the same time, and easy mode is for if you're really floundering. Now, as for the bigger changes to the game, other than just the whole returning cast, wait for it. Wait for it. And just a tip to start you off, if you need to turn your flashlight on, it's the right trigger for my Xbox controller because they start you out in the darkness. So the big change is cameras. So if you want to do third person over the shoulder, first person, you can do it all. While exploring the hub, I prefer to stay in this mode, so we're going to do that. Let me unequip this. So I'm going to put away the rifle because it's kind of difficult to use. But here is where the next change is. Your equipment has levels. So the rifle, well, all the character starting equipment is level 2 by default, I believe. So let me go ahead and go to this. So uncommon is level 2. I forgot what 3, 4, and 5 are, but 5 is the highest. The ammo also has levels. I don't know the formula it is for how these interact with to determine your damage. Once again, I'll mention later on why I haven't been around as much, why there's been more Monster Hunter and less everything else, but we'll get to that in a moment. The big thing, though, is the durability. This is the number of times you can use the item before it will break. So this rifle will break after 30 uses. Now, you're probably flipping out, well, what do? I want to lose my equipment. Well, that's where this toolbox comes in. So you can get repair parts to combine with your gear to extend its durability, its lifespan. The game will track its tool number of repairs because after a certain point, there's just nothing you can do. The thing's shot. So you gotta make use of stuff as you go. I'm gonna try to start with a pistol to try to conserve this, but it's up to you what you want to do on your game. You do you, after all. But everything pretty much has levels now, so even the healing items, we start with a red herb. You combine that with a green herb to make an orange herb. You combine that with a blue herb for a full heal, and by full I'm using quotes there, because the amount of healing you get is determined by the level. And if you combine like a level 3, level 2, and level 1 of all different things, they all become the lowest level, so that would give you like a level 1 mixed herb. So, a lot of inventory balancing here compared to other stuff. But anyway, when you go into I think they call it iterations in the game, you want to make sure you take this with you each and every time. You will live and die by this. This is how you fix your guns, this is how you make your ammo, and so on. So, to start things off, let me get my cursor out of the way. Actually, we'll hold off 1 second on that. So, the handgun we start with here is common, so that's level 1 for both. It can be used 24 times before it breaks. And you're probably asking, well, how do I fix stuff? I'll show you that in a second. But otherwise, you can talk to the ghosts. One of them is a merchant. They'll sell you stuff. There are statues you can interact with to lower or increase the difficulty of the dungeon you're in. But here we have repair parts, so we can combine that with our current handgun. You can use this for literally anything to boost its durability, so we go from 24 to 44. I want to say it's a random number you get, but I'm not 100% sure. So you can find some things by talking to the ghosts. It's kind of up to you what you want to do. The one thing I'm a little... Well, I'm not a fan of this camera, in case you're wondering. So, in order to turn, you have to actually use the left stick. There's no strafing. If you strafed, it'd probably be a little broken. Like, the advantage here is you can see there's a green or a blue herb in that locker. You can also see it in first person. It's just you have to aim down to look down, which is why the first person mode is not as good in my opinion. But the mechanic of the game. So in order to make this disappear, we have to pay 5 conductor coins to the conductor. The conductor coins is what you're trying to round up as you do the game. By doing that, you will unlock different areas, you'll unlock future dungeons to explore, and I think you have to pay a certain number to do the final dungeon to beat the game. In case you're wondering, no, none of the playtesters to my knowledge have actually beaten the game. Our save files were wiped every week, so we couldn't make any serious progress, unfortunately. But otherwise, you have another repair kit down here if you want it, but I want to use the handgun here. So this one had 24 to start with, so by default I'd want to turn this one into a repair tool thing. Make sure you get the ammo out of it. Combine, and there you go, you get repair parts. So you can combine this, we go from 44 to 50. So like I said, it's random. I don't know if it's caps at 50 or not, so that may have been a little bit of a waste. But the important thing though is, while the type and quality of your stuff does not go up from from repairing, it can go down. So do not get attached to your equipment. It is going to be very short-lived no matter what you do. And even if you do things right, you can still get punished. So I'm going to grab the handgun ammo. We have 30 rounds. That's good enough. So right there you notice there's new animations in the game. I'd like to get a shotgun to show you. There's one down here that I'll use if we don't find one in the first iteration. So, Yuri, the game developer, Dead Drop, whatever you want to call it, the studio or whatever, he actually did do motion capture. He contracted a studio, I believe it was, or some sort of company to do it. So the animations on all the characters have been sharply refined from previous games. It's not just the reload animations, but the way they hold the guns, the way they shoot it, and, well, you'll see what I mean when we get to the shotgun. But in case you're wondering, yes, the melee weapons also do have durability too. Even they break. So the protagonist of the story is Lydia. Everything's going to be told from her perspective no matter who you play. This is not a glitch or anything. That actually is intentional. Lydia struggled to make sense of this ethereal realm. She and her compatriots are trapped in the fog-enclosed school. Mysterious creatures roam the halls, offering both advice and discouragement. It was strange, though. She recognized certain things around her. Oh, right, I have to show that, too. I almost forgot. She was drawn to a beautiful grand piano on the second floor. As she sat on the stool, she began remembering a case she had solved a year back. A family was brutally murdered in their home. The police assumed it was wild animals. But Lydia wasn't so sure. The bite marks appeared to be human. Tests that were returned were inconclusive, though. Running her fingers across the keys, her mind traveled back to that day. She remembered the finished wooden floors and white-painted hallways, her mind removing the gore from the crime scene and replacing it with a spacious, almost inviting homestead. But as she dreamt, the inside became disfigured, dangerous, a horror show. When her mind snapped back, she found herself standing back in that deserted home. Before her, she saw the undead. Even worse, the halls and rooms were covered in grotesque traps and ridiculous statues. She ventured forward. So yes, there are traps in here that you have to worry about. You can also start in rooms with the monsters. I'm going to be kind of, like, my fingers are on the trigger, I'll put it that way. Wait for it. So the green powder you can combine. Okay, it just generates shotgun shells on its own. You can combine it with red or blue to generate different types. We'll go ahead and grab the the sickly green. And auto aim is still in the game. Just need to get close enough to use it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you notice, it's gorier than previous games. Another one of the changes Yuri made. But otherwise, we can turn the red powder into handgun rounds. I'm going to leave it like this just in case we need it. And you're not always guaranteed to start with a storage cache. This is just a random thing. It won't actually let me open it because that. And the tactical cam, I don't know if that's because I'm doing an early build or not. It allows me to look around. 4, 5, and 6. Wow. A lot of zombies here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Huh. So in order to make the lasers disappear, you have to interact with something. In this case, it was the statue. And that will allow us to go forward. But the thing that I wanted to show you was, if you look on the right here, there are different pieces of literature you can find going around that will tell you different stories and stuff. So right there we get the page 1 of the family journal, and as you go through you can accumulate them and learn a little more. Yeah, we can use a few handgun bullets. 5 and 6. So yeah, if you don't want to wander in blind, then by all means just switch cameras. I use the right stick to do it because I'm using an Xbox controller. Nice. And I walked into a bed of spikes. Let's see, is there anything over there? Red herb. Now, unfortunately, we may not be able to reach her here if I just took the shot. I'm actually going to try to go into the room before doing it. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. How am I for ammo? We have enough. Thing we also have to keep track of is I can use this 20 more times before it breaks, and then we need to find a new gun. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So yeah, just step on the pressure plate to disable that. And don't forget to loot the place. I mentioned with the whole character introduction thing that there are time limits to sticking around. We're having a little bit of bad luck already. So in earlier builds of the game, zombies would sometimes get stuck on this little elevation incline thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yuri did fix that. I don't remember if you actually have to kill everything to move on. We have 4 shots left. So I will combine this to show you the orange. I'm gonna leave those there. So we get our journal entry, and we get a shotgun. So let's combine this with this to generate shotgun shells. I will go ahead and equip the bang stick so that we can get some use out of it. Now I can break this down into repair parts to extend the life of the shotgun. Let's make sure that's loaded. And aim up to maximize its effect. So it looks like Yuri actually made the animation a little bit better because the shotgun was so awkward in early builds. I imagine people wouldn't be a fan of it, but it's actually nice now. So I just want to look around to make sure there aren't any traps I'm walking into. You know what, let's just go hard. I'll hold on to that, though. So we can combine this with this. Or, not that one. This. It's a common with this. Hmm? I want to let me combine them. Huh. I may need to report that to Yuri. That may be that we're running out of time. So I'm actually going to drop this here, so I can grab this handgun. And they mention you lose it forever if you leave. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this down, combine this with this, unequip. And yeah, we have a nice... This is getting a little awkward. My inventory, that is. Oh, I went in front of the camera, that's why that alarm went off. That will page all the zombies so that they come at you. In case you're wondering what it does. So, let's drop this here. Grab this. And I'm actually going to carry the shotgun as is. And the reason for that is I can use up this one, then turn it into parts, and then combine it with this one, and then it's one less repair. Your way to survive this is juggling your equipment. Next level. So we're on the 4th floor. Red powder. Got another page in the journal. I'm gonna try to pick him off from a distance. Need to make sure I don't step on the spikes. You know what? Let's just swap to that, because I'm gonna run across. So step on the plate to trigger whatever it is that needs to be triggered here. Most likely it's a laser that needs to be taken down. Those are the ones I see more than anything else. But while we're here, let's go ahead and drop this, grab that, pop this. So there was probably lasers or something at the end of this hallway that aren't there anymore. But we do have spikes in the wall. I wasn't really a fan of how the kick on the shotgun is so exaggerated, but maybe some people like it, I don't know. And now this is actually one of the lucky rooms you can roll. You can pay essence to get blue gunpowder. I don't remember what that does offhand. You can pay it to get the red-green combined. You can pay it for green gunpowder. Red gunpowder. They found any conductor coins. They are quite rare, but have quite a bit of value. Conductor and the Nexus will take them, but others will too. Take a look around before you spend them, even in the anomaly. Never a storage box around when you need one. What we're selling here is for a true craftsman. You can even combine some of them together. Okay, I was hoping I could talk to the ghost. But if you want to see how much essence you have to go to this screen, and up here in the corner you can see I have 115. You get it just for busting crap. So I could unlock stuff, but I'd rather just hold on to it. But yeah, if you need supplies, feel free to grab them. Where's our exit? Oh. It's literally that one right there. So I'm going to wait for the spikes to go back down before we hop out. And that's what I mean when I say you can sometimes start with enemies. Luckily, the guns do have some kick to them, so you can knock them back a little bit more easily than some of the previous entries in the series. And yeah, we blew her spinal cord out. I think you guys didn't believe me when I said this is gorier than previous entries. Right there you can see that the gun is knocked into the air. That's that exaggerated kick that I mentioned that I'm not a big fan of. Anyway, now we can deposit stuff, so I'm going to put those away. What do we have left? We're close to getting out of here, so I'm good to just toss almost everything in. But yeah, there are no enemies left because we're able to open the box. And I'm going to change camera just to make sure that I'm not missing anything obvious, because with the new cameras, Yuri can't hide as much in the blind spots as he'd like to. And we also got the journal entry. Now, there is a finite number of spaces in your box, so just make sure to manage them accordingly. Okay, floor number 6. Let me just make sure that there's anything here. So you can walk through the lasers like that, you take damage for doing it. And if you were able to time things, you should be able to get through there without taking any damage, but I didn't. And wow, we got ripped off hard there. So yeah, we're kicked back to start. If you have conductor coins, I think you lose them. Sometimes you get to keep your gear. I wonder if I should just try Iron Man to see if that'll wipe the data. But otherwise, yeah. So I'm good to give it another try and just see if we can get through it. With the shotguns, we shouldn't have too much trouble. Let's grab a handgun just to be safe. Cover our bases, you know? But otherwise, yes, you're going to need to play these multiple times because throughout those 6 levels, I did not run into a single conductor coin. And I should also mention, we are now level 3. I don't think I can equip anything skill-wise at this level, or from here. I have to actually leave and come back. By equipping skills, you can start to skew things in your favor, but just head back to the piano and you can give it another go. That's why there's no save points in the game, just because you're just going to these instance dungeons to get supplies, so to speak. Let's actually check the other side just to make sure that there's anything there. But it looks like we stumbled across one that doesn't have any enemies. So we can see here that's another one of those merchant shops. I'm not really interested in doing this. I'm just going to step on the pressure plate and go. We may not even need to step on the plate. We might just be able to leave as is, so we'll give it a try. I'll grab this just for the sake of having it. And yeah. Huh. So this seems a little familiar, doesn't it? Didn't mean to get hit, but oh well. Let's change. Okay, so we can see the shadow there. We're down to caution already. So we should be like one hit from dying, to be perfectly honest. Huh. no healing items. It's also a sickly one, so let's just move forward. That's a lot of enemies. And unfortunately, yes, they can go through the traps unharmed. So that horn sound is the level up music. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wanted him out of the way so I can just run through. And this time we're actually going to have a lot of parts, we just may not have a lot of ammo. Next room. So this is not doing anything for me, I'm just going to drop it. And they mention, yes, you do lose it if you leave without it. To conserve ammo, I'm going to switch to the pistol. So we have a poison trap here. So I'll see where the lasers are before I step forward. Since we're pretty much one hit from death. Oh, that turned off the lasers too. Okay. Fifth floor. What do we... 9 shots left. So yes, I can repair the handgun if I'm so inclined. We have a fat zombie, a female zombie, and all of our healing's gone. So, custom handgun. Just need to make sure we don't trigger the camera. And something aggroed him. So yeah, we had this problem in some of the earlier builds where the zombies would get stuck trying to pathfind around there. Oh well. 1, 2. Good enough. Because I'm going to dismantle that in a second. So what we can do is combine this, reload this, drop that. And there we go. Pop this so we can... Wow. A bit of health, and they really do mean bit. So yeah, we know there's still enemies here because we can't use that. That's where we found the handgun. So keep in mind, if we had Alana here, we could kill her a little bit more easily. How do I want to do this? So we can have this one reload. Wow, this one has, I believe that's the maximum durability, 50. So yeah, that will last a little while. So what I'm going to do is I will drop this here. At this point, the powder's just not doing me any favors, so... So we're running out of time here. You can see that this is turning red. I am going to just toss this in. And now let's get out of here. So we got the 7th page of the family entry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't afford to hit this laser. If I do, it's curtains. Trying to see if there's anyone else here. Oh, that could have been bad. Now, I don't believe there's any reward for hitting them in the head like previous games, and by that I mean Epidemic and Lost Hope. That one that appears over my shoulder is messing with me, so I keep thinking that there's one, like, immediately in front of me instead of it being over there. Actually, I have a nice bit of supplies here. Combine this, combine this. And since I want to keep the gun I'm using, I will go ahead and repair it so it's up to 30. You can see that it now has its second repair. I'll grab this in case we run into another healing plant. It looks like we're running out of time here, so let's get out. So I see something coming up behind me. Holy crap. So right there's our conductor coin. Wow, that one just didn't have a lot of durability to it, I guess. I actually need that. I'm gonna set this down for the moment. So we're gonna combine this and this to make an orange, use that to boost us to warning. And there's a dude on the ground that I didn't see. So I could be back down to danger, and I am. So that's our conductor coin. I meant to do that. And just for the sake of it, let's do that. There's probably a better shotgun here, so I'm going to hold off on that. We're going to grab the coin in a second. Looks like it's all handguns from here, so yeah. It's at 36. Target sidearm. So this has a piercing effect. You may actually want to use this one. That's basically the Kraus of the game. So you know what? Let's unload this. Yeah, we'll just do one of each, I guess. Oh, level 2 handgun. So this one will have a little bit more power to it, but it just has crap ammo in it, so it is what it is. We'll go ahead and combine this so we can grab the conductor coin, and these are what you need. So here you are in Limbo. So this is basically a safe zone of sorts. I believe that's to leave. Yep, that takes you back to the Nexus. You're free to grab the items. There is a chest here so you can store your stuff. We have a damaged knife, la-di-freaking-da. And whenever you get here, you are guaranteed to have a conductor coin there, so that's your bad luck prevention of sorts. You can go through here to go even deeper in the anomaly, and as you carry more and more conductor coins with you, things will skew your favor in terms of luck. So you have to wager risk or reward. What do you want to do? As I mentioned, custom handgun, but costs 145 essence. I have 520. By the way, below my essence up there you can see conductor coins returned. I guess 50 is the number to beat the game, but like I said, we couldn't do that in testing because there were too many wipes. But yeah, feel free to grab everything else here that isn't bolted down, and it's up to you if you want to go further or call it quits. As for me, I'm going to stop here. I just wanted to give you guys a feel for what to expect with the game, and that way you're not going in blind or anything. So I'm going to run in here and get out of here. Or not. So the last thing I want to show you before we wrap this up, because we've been at this for 45 minutes so far. There are different statues that'll boost or lower the difficulty of the area, or the instance dungeons you go into, so it's up to you on what you want to do. It's going to affect drops, what you find there, and so on. We're grabbing our conductor coins, and if you're wondering what you're supposed to do with them, which way is it's over here. Come on, Harry. A steam engine out here? Bring me 49 more to escape the nightmare, and that unlocks the conductor achievement, so bring 48 more. And there you go. There is a limit to how many you can get from each iteration, so you can't just like get all 50 from the first one. You have to work your way up to other ones. But since we gave him 2 coins, that will unlock stuff in the school for us. And then if you ever need the items, feel free to grab them as you need them. I'm just leaving them here for convenience sake. Those will not despawn unless you set them down yourself. So we need 28 more for that one. 8 more for that one. I thought you only needed 2 for this one. Ah, you need 5. Well, there goes my plan to show that room. But yeah, that's where I wanted to stop things. So we need 3 more for that one, but in these different rooms you'll find the other dungeons, and the other dungeons will have other enemies. It's not just going to be zombies. Just like the other Outbreak games, you will have the brutes, the reptiles, the enforcers. I don't remember how all they differ. Like I said, I couldn't test this as much. And then the final thing is, if you wonder why I haven't been doing as much lately, why the visual novels and stuff had come to a stop, so it's a twofold reason. The first of which is the whole pandemic thing has just screwed up everything, so I just don't have the time as much. And the other thing that's absorbing a lot of my time is my father died. So we're tentatively looking at like a funeral in June. It's just with the whole lockdown thing winding down, I don't know how all these things are going to line up, what's going to be available, what isn't, what's going to go back into lockdown, and all that stuff. That's throwing everything up in the air, I'm afraid. So, yeah, that is my plan for June, unfortunately, which is not really good news, I'm afraid. So, hopefully soon I can get back to the normal state of things on the channel, but that's where we're at for now. But anyway, if you like the game, go ahead and pick it up. I will put a link to the Steam store in the description of the video. This is available on PlayStation, I want to say PS4 and PS5, all the Xbox One and Xbox Scarlet, whatever the new one's called, as well as Switch. So Yuri is putting his games out everywhere. If you like them, feel free to pick them up. It helps support him. And it's going to kind of determine what direction he goes with the series, because like we're going back to this one because Epidemic was just not as well received, and while this one doesn't have the online functionality of New Nightmare, there's a lot of new things to play with, to experiment with, and as long as people view it favorably, who knows what the future holds. But with that, I am out of here, folks. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.